Hello, welcome to my review of the Vaude Taurus 2P two-person tent. Now, I'm telling you, this is a long-term review. I've had this tent over 10 years and used it hundreds of times. So a little bit of backgrounds about myself. I'm Big Pezza, contrary to popular belief. I'm not actually that tall. I'm actually around 5'5", but which means that this tent is absolutely perfect for myself because I can get myself in there quite nicely with lots of room, and I can stick all my bike kit in it as well. Because I'm a motorbiker, I like to travel. I don't backpack or anything like that. This tent is around 2 kilograms. It goes on the back of a bike, and off I go. And it's super quick to pitch. Get it up, get it down, really nice and easy, and it just works perfectly with my motor. It's not too big, not too bulky, not too heavy. It's the great combination of size and enough room inside for myself and all my bike kit, helmet, jacket, gloves and all that stuff. And it's even got a little porch that I can leave my backpack in, or any wet clothes. I can leave it outside in the porch overnight. I don't bring it into the tent with me. Muddy boots, shoes, Crocs, whatever, that just lives in the porch all the time I'm camping, and it all stays really dry. So it just works just fine for me and the bike. It's great. Like I said, I've had this tent for 10 years, but that doesn't mean anything. How many times do I go camping a year? Quite often. Every time I go away, I'm going away, and it's always going to be camping. Last year, 2024, I went away loads, but I think the most I used it was like 2017, when I lived out of that tent for around 3 months, going across Europe. I've used this tent in all sorts of weather conditions, from plus 30 to minus 7. And I wasn't comfortable on the hot end, and I wasn't comfortable on the cold end, but I'm not dead. So, yeah. So the things I really like about this tent, the fact that the hydrostatic head is really, really high. And I've only ever had water get in once, but that was, after 10 years of use, I had to refab seal it. And it's been fine ever since. It's a decent sized 1.5 to 2 person tent. 2 poles. Literally, I can get this tent up and down within a space of minutes, like 5 minutes, if that. The tent is done, and I can chuck myself in. And when the rain's coming, that is just so necessary. I'm not in a car. I can't wait it out. I'm gonna get soaking wet if the rain hits, so I can just jump into it, get the tent up in a minute, and stick it up. Job done. Having the porch is such a game. I know it's only a small porch and you can only sit like kneel in there or cross-legged or whatever, and you ain't got any room. But to have a little porch where you open it up and the water doesn't come in, like a lot of other tents just open into the elements. This one, you've got a little porch. You can stay dry in that. You can sit in it. You can stick an arm out. You can cook from in. I wouldn't cook in the porch. I know people do cook in the porch. I don't cook in the porch myself. I'll cook outside the porch, but I can sit in the porch in the dry and cook. The build quality is really, really high. Like, this tent it's got a little bit of damage on mine has now, but considering it's 10 years old and it's still working and like everything still is good, I haven't needed to do anything to it. It's great. This tent has stayed up and kept me dry during some proper nasty storms that I've been in a couple of times. We've been through some biblical weather almost. Bikes are falling over. It was other tents were falling over. A marquee collapsed. It was a really bad time. And that tent stayed up and kept me dry. And I like it just for that as well. It's got a little bit of ventilation, not a lot. This is where it gets to a bit more of the downsides. So it's got a nice big fly screen on it, which is great. So I leave that open all the time pretty much. Otherwise I get too much condensation on the inside. Usually it gets a bit damp sometimes in the mornings. It's probably because it comes down too low to the ground. If the grass is particularly high, then there's not enough ventilation to go round. So you do get a bit of dampness inside sometimes. The main issue, I think, with the tent is the size. It is quite a small tent. I have seen bigger people than me use it. But I guess if you're 6 foot, you might want to think twice about it. I'd say if you're around 6 foot, that's probably like the limit to how big you could get into this tent, sort of thing. And also you do have to be quite flexible to like scoop down and get in. So it's not possibly the easiest tent to get in and out of if you're a little bit older or a little bit too stiff. Now, I've taken this tent to quite a few motorbike rallies, and I've had too much to eat, or I've usually had too many drinks, and then I've wanted to be sick. But luckily, every time I've done this, I've managed to get to the zips. They're quite well easy, really good quality zips. I've never had them get stuck or anything, and I've managed to get both zips undone to get myself out in time. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that as well. Super easy to pack down, super easy to pick up, to pitch up. It is a great little tent. Of course, the downsides. So I've already mentioned size, and space, and all of that. So it's not too many really downsides with this tent. It's all about just personal preference. The only downside with this tent that you really would have to think about if you actually want to get one of these tents is the price. So what it kind of boils down to is this tent is a 3-season tent, really. It doesn't say it's a 4-season, although a lot of people do camp in the snow with it, and it has been fine. But I think they only say up to 3 seasons. It's only snow that it doesn't really do. Is this tent right for you? So it's a lot of money for a tent, and it's not a very big tent. But if you can live with all them things, then yeah, sure, it would be a good investment. Only if you're going to be going camping all the time. So for me, I got lucky. I bought it, got into camping, loved it. But if you're getting into camping or you're thinking about getting this tent, how much do you really go camping? If you're only going camping once or twice a year, this probably isn't the tent for you. I mean, for me, the tent has paid for itself. But if you go camping only twice a year, that's 150 quid a night that you've spent for that year, just on the tent alone, not including sleeping bag and all this other stuff. So in conclusion, this is my perfect tent. I love this tent. It's the best tent I've ever bought. It's, like I say, small, lightweight, all that stuff. It's great. It fits me perfectly. It fits on my bikes, all of my bikes, with ease. I don't have to worry about it being too heavy. Getting up, getting down, it's great. It's the best tent for me. Is it the best tent for you? 300 quid, very expensive. So, anyway, think about it. I've got my money's worth out of it, but would you? Anyway, hope you enjoyed my review. There'll be links below. Thanks for watching.